Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be reading the second chapter of The Boy of I Can Make This Promise. This chapter is called The Boy in the War Zone. July 4th. It's like a war zone out here in the field. Whistling fireworks streak across the sky, long tails of light streaking behind them like shooting stars. The big ones shoot out of their boxes with hollow thumps and explode with echoing claps that set off car alarms. Fortunate fountains erupt in glittering sparks, hissing softly as they stand stationary on the ground. The whole meadow is littered with knocked-over tubes and blackened boxes, empty shells that are still venting plumes. The air is smoky and filled with flying bits of debris. There's so much of it, it's almost difficult to breathe. We've gone through the entire box. We're standing a respectful distance away from other people. Thickets of trees line the field's perimeter. An explosion goes off, perilously close to a cluster of dry-looking leaves and branches. I swallow and return my attention to our fountain as it huffs blue smokes and embers. Within moments, it fizzles out in a dwindling orange flame. Dad hand grazes my shoulder. It's time for your mystery firework. Is it time for your mystery firework? I nod. Can I be the one to light it? My parents exchange glances. Mom shrugs and nods, granting her permission. Dad says, "Sure, I don't see why not." He leads me up the spot where our fountain burned out. I set the firework on the ground, and Dad retrieves the lighter from his pocket as we both crouch. "Just be careful with your fingers," he said. "Don't tilt the flame towards your knuckles, and once the fuse is lit, be sure to back away quick." "I'm 12, I tell him. "Not 2. Stop worrying so much." He laughs. "Yeah, well, I guess I should be grateful you even asked. When I was your age, I don't think I waited for permission to do anything, especially when it came to fireworks." I can't help but smirk. Dad's stories often fit into one of two categories. He either talks about Boy Scouts, Little Leagues, and his top grades in math and science. Or he talks about mischiefs, the pranks he used to pull, the hospital trips when daring stunts didn't go well. It's hard to imagine that some of his stories really happened, but maybe that's because I've only known him since he became a dad. He hands me the lighter, and I throw a quick glance at Mom. She responds with one of her warmest smiles, the kind that makes her pupils shine and her eyes twinkle around the corners. Mom doesn't share many of her childhood memories. She doesn't have endless nostalgic stories like Dad does. I know she was smart and shy and liked to read books. I know she and Uncle Phil didn't get along until they were teenagers. I know she was a writer for her high school newspaper. But that's pretty much it. "Well," Dad says, "what are you waiting for?" I light the fuse. We both stand and back away. Swiftly, his arms cross in front of me protectively. Mom's warm hand grips my shoulder as we watch the fuse disintegrate into nothing. It goes off with a small pop. Something shoots up and out of it, so fast it's just a blur. I throw my head back, amazed by how high it goes, how far it flies. "What is it?" I cry. Mom gives my shoulder a reassuring squeeze. "Just wait, you'll see." It hangs in the sky, floating weightlessly. It isn't burning or shooting sparks. It isn't like any of the other fireworks. I gasp. It's a parachute. It looks like a tiny hot air balloon. It's striped, turquoise and white. It flutters and flaps as it sails towards Earth, coming down in a diagonal line heading towards the open field. Horrified, I break free of my mother's grasp. "Eddie!" Before she could say anything else, I'm running straight across the minefield, dodging around people, chasing through the crossfire. I keep my eyes glued to the little parachute as it meanders through the dangerous atmosphere. It looks far too innocent amid the showers of sparks. chase it halfway across the field when it's only about 15 feet off the ground. I see a boy aiming his Roman candle in the same direction. No, I shout. Wait! The boy turns his head and pivots his body just in time. The Roman candle projectile misses my parachute by several feet. I'm completely out of breath now. I slow to a stop and catch the parachute in midair. There's a little cardboard tube attached to it, connected with thin white strings. The strip parachute wrinkles and deflates in my hand. Hey! I look up. The boy with the Roman candle is staring at me. He's wearing a backwards facing baseball cap. A tuft of black hair is sticking through the open gap. He's also wearing a black t shirt and basketball shorts. He looks like he's around my age. Sorry, he says with a grimace. I wasn't trying to point at your parachute. A green fireball shoots out of his Roman candle with a muted thunk. He doesn't bother to watch it arc through the air. It's okay. A blue fireball shoots out of his candle, and he still doesn't look away. I'm Roger, he said. He takes a step closer and holds his free hand out to me. It seems odd to introduce myself to a boy in the middle of a war zone, but I accept the handshake anyway. Eddie. His palm is warm and soft. A purple fireball erupts from his candle, but I only see it now in my peripheral vision because we're face to face now. His eyes are the warmest shade of brown I've ever seen. His teeth are a bright white flash as he smiles at me. Butterflies surge in my stomach. My blush warms my cheeks. He says, Hi. He's still smiling. His hands are still folded in mine. Hi. You look native, he says, but I don't think I've ever seen you before. What nation are you? I blink fast and stutter. Oh, I mean, yes, I'm native, but Eddie? I drop Roger's hand like a hot potato. Two silhouettes are moving through the thick gray fog. Bits of debris and trample rain around them, like the black spots that appear on screen in old movies. As they come closer, I can see the relief of my parents' faces. Oh, good, Dad mutters. Sweetheart, you can't just go run off like that, okay? Come on, let's go. It's getting late. As an afterthought, he adds, I'm glad you got your parachute. I respond with a mute nod and speed walk away from Roger. My parents lead the way back across the field. I follow a few steps behind and risk a quick glance at Roger before he disappears in the fog. He's staring at me. His Roman candle is still poised in the air, but the tube is smoking, empty. I lift my hand in a wave. He smiles as he waves back. My parents are in the car now, zooming down the freeway. Fireworks bloom all across the darkened hillsides. The sky is a swath of indigo velvet. I'm still thinking about the dog I saw. I wondered if he ever found his owners, his family. I hope someone was there for him. I hope he's curled up in front of a fireplace right now, with a full belly and a cozy rug. Or maybe he's standing in a bathtub, his tail whacking the tiled walls behind him, his furs lathered in fragrant bubbles. Actually, these are some great images. Maybe this could be the topic of the story for the film Amelia, Serenity, and I are working on. I whisk my phone out of my pocket and open our group chat. Happy 4th of July, I type. Movie meeting tomorrow. I got a new idea. Serenity's response is instant. Happy 4th. Yes, can't wait. Where should we meet? I ask, Amelia's house? I stare at the screen for a moment, waiting for Amelia's response. When it doesn't come, I tuck the phone back into my pocket. Maybe it's only my imagination, but it seems like Amelia takes forever to reply these days. Sometimes she doesn't even answer at all. Since the summer began, the group chat has mainly been filled with messages exchanged between me and Serenity. Mom giggles. Look, she says. She turns She turns around and shows
Phil
me.
just sent me this.
Phil just sent me this.
Uncle Philip sent Mom
Uncle
two
Philip
gifts.
sent Mom 2 gifts.
GIFs.
A text message,
and a text message.
the first is a fireworks.
The
The second is a waving.
American flag.
Happy Fourth to my favorite sister,
my
favorite
sister,
bro-in-law,
my
and my
favorite
favorite
bro-in-law,
niece.
and my
Love
favorite
you all.
niece.
Love you all.
Especially Eddie.
Excited to see you
soon for
Excited to see you soon for some summer BBQs.
Nice, I say. Nice,
Yes,
I
she
say.
agrees. Very
Yes,
sweet.
she agrees. Very
Mom
sweet.
turns back around
Mom
and starts
turns
typing
back
her
around and
response.
starts typing her
Hey, Mom.
response. Hey, Mom.
Why are fireworks only allowed
Why are
on
fireworks
the
only allowed on the
reservation?
reservation?
She stops typing.
She stops typing. Looks
I
up.
meet her gaze in the
I meet her gaze in the
mirror.
rear view mirror.
I was just thinking. about how fireworks are banned
because
in
of
our
all the
neighborhood.
fire
Because
hazard.
of all the fire
But there are still a lot of trees around that field.
around
And there were
field.
houses nearby.
And there were houses
too.
nearby.
And it
too.
wasn't just like
And it
one
wasn't
or two
just like
houses.
one or
There
two
were a
houses.
bunch of them.
There were a
I
bunch
scooped
of them.
forward in my seat.
I scooped forward
So
in my
why
seat.
is it allowed
So
there?
why is it allowed
don't-
there?
We don't.
Why don't the same rules apply?
Why don't the same rules apply?
She doesn't answer
She
at first.
doesn't
I
answer
wait
at
and
first.
listen to the
I wait and
ongoing
listen
whoosh
to the
of cars on
ongoing
the freeway
whoosh of
around
cars on
us.
the freeway
The
around
dingy
us.
bellow of the truck's diesel exhaust. The low, distant wails of sirens. Finally, she responds.
It's complicated.
It's complicated.
I wait for her answer.
She doesn't.
She doesn't.
Have you ever heard of fried bread?
Yes,
bread?
why? Yes,
Have
why?
you ever tried it?
Have you ever
A few
tried
times.
it? A few
Really?
times.
I scoot
Really?
even further,
I
straining
scoot even
against
further,
the
straining
seatbelt.
against the
Do you
seatbelt.
know how to make it?
Do you know how
What
to
are the
make it?
ingredients?
What
Could
are the
we cook it at
ingredients?
home?
Could we cook it at
They were
home?
selling
They
some
were
at
selling
the booth, and I wanted to
some
try
at
it.
the booth, and
I
I wanted
didn't
to
get
try
a
it.
chance to
I
ask.
didn't get a chance to ask.
Maybe we can make it at home.
Maybe we can
I
make
don't
it at
know.
home.
We'll see.
I don't know. We'll see.
It's a traditional Native
It's a
American
traditional
food,
Native
I say
American
excitedly.
food, I say
We should
excitedly.
bake it at
We
home.
should bake it at
Maybe.
home. Maybe.
I lean back in my seat.
I lean back
The
in my
freeway
seat.
curves around
The freeway
bend.
curves around the bend.
Bright
a
white
bend.
headlights
Bright
gather
white
behind
headlights
us.
gather behind
around
us.
us. Their
Around
beams
us.
pierce the
Their
dark,
beams pierce the
illuminating
dark,
interior
illuminating
of our car.
interior
in
of our
shifting
car
strokes.
in shifting
Red
strokes.
taillights glow
Red
ahead.
taillights
as we follow
glow
them
ahead
home.
as we follow
I
them
think
home.
about Roger.
I think about
He was
Roger.
the first person
He
to
was the
ever
first
say those
person
words
to ever say those
You
words
look
to me.
native.
You look native.
And it didn't feel presumptuous.
Didn't feel like a wild
Didn't
guess.
feel like a wild
It was like
guess.
he recognized
It was like
me.
he recognized
Like he saw
me.
something
Like
in
he
me.
saw something.
I
in
wonder
me.
what that something
I wonder
was.
what that something was.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to
Thank
the
you for
book.
listening to the book.
I hope to see you next
I
time.
hope to see you
Goodbye.
next time. Goodbye.